Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
Oh, welcome to the show. Today is Monday and this is going out live on Mintwave Radio. So if you already have the Alexa skill, you can just ask Alexa. Otherwise, go to the website above and you can download the Alexa skill, or if it's via podcast, you can actually see the whole week's schedule from all of our show hosts. Download the app for Apple and Android and feel free to subscribe to any that take your fancy. So today's episode is 175 and today we have Lu Tandazo. Lu is a transformational mindset coach and we're going to be talking about self-image today. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, helping coaches to get their message heard to the people who need to hear it. Now, Lu has been trained by none other than Bob Proctor, dedicated to assisting people in reinventing themselves and creating the life they truly aspire to. Lu focuses on helping small businesses and individuals that feel stuck or burnt out in achieving their personal and professional goals. So welcome to the show, Lu.
Thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, if you'd like to share with the audience a little bit more about your backstory, how did you come to be working with the Bob?
Yeah, so it's a long story. I actually came across Bob when I did my first reinvention of myself. The first part of my life, I was a teacher. I used to teach French because I'm actually originally from France and I moved to the US. And so my first career was teaching French. And it was wonderful. As a teacher, you go through different phases and you grow. And then I came through budget cuts and different things like this. I was like, this is a time where I really need to change what I'm doing with my life. And I came across Bob Proctor at that time. And I really dived into personal development and I was able to create a new career path for myself. I ended up switching into HR, going from the bottom where you knew literally nothing. I just dived from teaching to HR and within 8 years became the top of HR for a medium-sized company. But all this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Bob Proctor and personal development world in general. And then I came to a point in my life where I was stuck again, personally, professionally, not feeling like I was doing everything I could. I was seeking more. For whatever reason, something inside of me was like, I know I can do more. I can have a greater impact on people. I'm not feeling fulfilled. And so I dived back into personal development at that time and really did, the Bob Proctor, really full coaching with their onboarding of consultants. I decided, this is what I want to do. After hearing several of Bob's seminars, and I was like, this just clicked for me. I was like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. It allows me to keep growing and it allows me to serve people to a much greater extent than in the HR world. And that's how I started, and definitely has been very fulfilling just because I can do so much more for people.
When was this? How long ago was it when you made the decision to go all in with Bob?
Yes, it was in 2021.
Oh, even though it was a horrendous time, do you think that not only you, but many people allowed them to take stock and take a look at where they're at and what they're doing, and are they actually really happy doing it? So do you see like a big change that has come out of the awful thing that it was?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was perfect timing, and it actually forced everybody to really question everything, right? Instead of accepting the status quo, because all of us have accepted certain things in our lives that we're supposed to follow a certain path. That yes, we're supposed to, go to the office and take certain jobs and stick with those jobs and fulfill family obligations and other society obligations. But this was the perfect time to actually question everything and decide, what do I really want to do with my life? How do I want to spend my time? What kind of life do I want to create for myself and my family? So I think even though from a health standpoint, this was a crisis for the whole world, this was definitely a time to make different choices and to decide what's really important to me and what am I going to do about it.
Yeah, sure. And I suppose self-image does fit very nicely into that, because is that something that you see that holds people back from pursuing what they really want to do?
Yes, I've seen that self image is one of the biggest things that hold people back because when we look at people trying to change their lives, there is a multitude of things that come into play. But when we really grill it down to the core, if you're going to change your life, you cannot outperform your self image. You can never outperform your self image. So without changing that, that means you'll never be able to achieve the results that you're seeking to achieve, no matter how much work you may be putting in. Even if you work harder, even if you're changing some of your habits, you're changing your mindset, until you truly change your self image, you'll not be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve and create the life you want. And that's where I put in a focus. Obviously, we spend with my clients even more time on the self image piece for that reason, because it is so critical. Because self image really is part of your attitude as well. If you don't see yourself as a successful person completely, or if you don't fully believe that you can accomplish something, it's going to hold you back. It's going to show in your feelings, it's going to show in your behavior and your actions that you're taking every day are truly creating the results you're getting today. It's attracting certain things. You're on a certain vibration. So when we really want to change that vibration, when we really want to change the behavior, we have to go back to the self-image. Whether it's Bob, whether it's Earl Nightingale, or even a great author on psycho-cybernetics from Dr. Maxwell Maltz, whenever you look at this, all of them say the same thing. You have to change who you are in order to achieve different results. Otherwise, it's not going to change.
But that sounds so simple, doesn't it? It
It
sounds so
is.
simple. All you've got to do is change your self-image. Because do you really think that everybody knows? Do they really understand this? Because quite often, obviously, this is unconscious. This isn't a con. Think, what do you mean? I need to change my? Oh, yeah, I'm great. Everything's great. I know I can achieve this. But there's something going. This is on an unconscious level. So, what do people need to do first if they have
Yeah.
a big goal that they've maybe never come even close to? It sounds very simplistic, right? All you've got to do is change your self-image, and there you go. You can achieve your goal. So where do they start?
Yes, and I'm so glad you pointed that out, Karen, because it's true. Even when you listen to personal development, even Bob said it. It's very simple. Now, it's not easy to apply, but it's very simple. The concepts are really accessible to anybody. So first you have to take a good account of where are you and where do you want to go? Because that's going to be determining what needs to change. And you're going to have to do some deep work in terms of you may have certain beliefs in your mind, but deep down in your subconscious, what do you truly believe? And you have to do a thorough analysis. When I tell the word time, what comes to your mind? When I tell the word money, what comes to your mind? When I say the word relationships, what comes to your mind? Do you have negative words that come, or even when I talk about health, what comes to your mind? Do you say, I'm not in great health? Do you say there's never enough money? What do you say? What are some of the things that come to your mind? Because they're going to tell you what's happening in your subconscious. And your self image is tied to all the beliefs that are in your subconscious. What were you told when you were a little kid? That you were not good enough? That you could never do certain things? All of those things, if I said to you, okay, do you want to achieve this, but what do you really believe? Do you believe deep down that you can, or is there something else holding you in there that when you were little, you were said certain things, or maybe from past failure, there's somebody that said something that triggered the sense of poor self-image, where you lost some of your confidence. And this is where you have to realize, do I really walk like that person? Do I really talk like that person? Do I make decisions like that person? Do I conduct myself like that person in every aspect of my life? And what kind of actions do I take? And you have to make an inventory. Okay, How am I acting now? How am I thinking now in all those areas of my life? And what would that person look like? How would they think? How would they live? What kind of friends would they have? Where would they live? Where would they go to work or things like this? If they go to work, depending on what they do, what would they be doing? What would they be enjoying in terms of recreational activities compared to what you're doing? What type of vacations would they take compared to what you're doing right now? Looking at all of these aspects. And when you're booking a vacation, are you telling yourself, "I don't really have the budget for this?" Or how are you making your decisions? And how would you think that this person is making decisions? And also in terms of habits and your discipline. Does that person wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and study, work on their mindset? What do they do that you're not doing? This is where you want to look at, where am I now? And where do I want to be? And how would that person be that I'm trying to become? Because until you become that person, yes, you're not going to have the results of that person.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much out there these days, and thanks to The Secret and all the ones, or What the Bleep Do We Know, that's come after, and more people are, I don't know whether it's going two ways. I think there's some people sort of maybe misinterpret what it's trying to say, because like we said earlier, it sounds so simple. And like you say, even Bob says, the things that you need to do aren't difficult. You don't need a degree in science to work out what you need to do. They are simple things, but need to be done consistently for things to change. Now, for somebody that's maybe struggling, it's a difficult thing for them to act as if they've never been there, right? So it may seem or perceive like it's easier for someone who's had it or lost it, because they can get the belief they can have it again, versus somebody who's never been there. So because that's the difficult thing, isn't it? All this, you've got to act as if, you've got to be grateful for, as though it's already been accomplished. But if somebody's really struggling right now, how do they get to that place to really, really, because it's not going to happen overnight, is it?
Yeah, and this is where working with a coach is really helpful, because we're here to show you how to get there. Because there's a lot of steps that need to happen for this to work, right? We work on habit by habit. We work on every belief that you have. And we work on giving you tips and tools. For example, one of them, we could say, imagine you're 2 years from now and you're writing to yourself and congratulating yourself, right? There's all kinds of things that we give you as a coach to help you imagine. We help you work on your different mental faculties, because you have different gifts in your mind that help you actually create that and act as if. But you have to learn to know those faculties and master them, strengthen them, because we all have them. We're all capable. Then it's a matter of discipline and working with those. And that's what mentorship does. You work with somebody that's going to hold you accountable, give you the tools, teach you how to use your mind to actually act as if and become that person. And like I said, one of the tips is write to yourself. Imagine it's 2 years from now, you've accomplished your goal. How does it feel? What would you tell yourself? That's one of the tools that you can use to really start thinking that way. But it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's why I definitely encourage you to get guidance.
And I suppose it's just, you want to change the shape of your body, you've got to train your muscles, your physical muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about here then is training your mental muscles, and things that people don't, unless they've been going down this road, they won't necessarily think of them as important. Like what you just said there about the importance of using your imagination. Your imagination is a phenomenal mental tool that you can use to your advantage to help you get there. But for many people, they would perceive that as, I'm not going to waste my time imagining. I've got things to do. What would you say? What would you say to that? Because there's got to be a balance, hasn't there?
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because really it all starts in the mind. Anything that you're dealing with today, whether it's your computer, your phone, your chair, all of this was first created in somebody's mind. Somebody had to imagine it first. And so when you think about imagination as a waste of time, no, this is where it all starts. It's the beginning of everything. And this is where you need to apply yourself. First, it becomes a picture. You need to have a clear picture in your mind. Everything is energy. Truly, everything is energy. And energy is always transmuting into matter. But first, you have to have a picture in your mind because otherwise, it doesn't know what it's supposed to create. And so, you spending some time on your imagination and holding that picture with your will, that's another one of your faculties. You are then able to transmute that energy into matter. If you're not willing to spend the time on imagining things, nothing will change because it can only start changing if you hold a different picture in your mind. So I understand it may sound crazy, but when we look at all the things that have been created in this world, from the airplanes to your phone to the glass of water that you hold, and that's in glass today, all of this was first created in the mind. It was somebody imagined it and saw it in their mind. And that's how it came into this world. So I want you to take a step back and really, for 1 second, what if this actually worked? Give it a chance, because if your results are not changing despite all of your efforts, guess what? You're going to have to try something different. Otherwise, it's the definition of insanity. If you keep trying the same thing and it's not working, well, you're going to be stuck. So you may take it with a grain of disbelief at first, but give it a chance. What if this actually worked? And see how, everything is going to transform over time. If you do the work, if you start with your imagination, start with the right picture, hold it with your will, and then really work on your other subconscious beliefs and your self-image, you're going to see everything unfold and start being different in your life.
Yeah, and you said something right there. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the practicing it, because, it's not going to happen overnight, and it does take practice. And it does take practice to even hold a specific thought or specific image in the screen of your mind. That does take practice, because the problem is we're so distracted, aren't we? There's so much going on. There's so many gadgets and things to distract us from everything. So to actually take time out of your day to spend is going to be worth it for your life, isn't it?
It is. There's so much. Bob teaches different ways of practicing that strengthening, of holding that picture. And you can even set reminders for yourself on your phone. Let me think about my goal. You can have your goal on a goal card and carry it with you, like Bob says. There's so many things that you can do that we also share as coaches to help you hold that picture. Because the more you think about your goal, the more you're going to be in harmony with your goal, and the more you're going to take actions that are aligned with your goal. You're going to become that new person. You're going to change over time. And yes, it's a process. But if you stick to that process and if you're disciplined, the results will change.
I've been following Bob for a very long time. My goals have changed, right? But it is a process. It is a process. And I will put down my whole backstory really to him. If it wasn't for going through the You Were Born Rich program, my initial goals that I wrote down that day in, oh my goodness, let me see, it must have been about the year 2000, 2001 maybe, 2001, 2002. And my goal was to own my own fitness studio, even though I was living in London and teaching wherever. That was my goal, and to own a house because I was in rented, and to drive a 4x4 before climate change was a thing. And yes, long story short, we didn't have it in London. We'd moved to the Algarve, Portugal, and it wasn't the plan when we went there. But yes, funnily enough, we ended up owning our own fitness studio, buying a house on the back of it, and it ended up driving a 4x4 truck. I got it. And it's interesting for me that I've had goals that I haven't achieved since. And the difference for me, I would say, is that there was too much resistance to it. Because maybe I really wanted it, and which is the difference between wanting and having. Because I really wanted it, I was in the energy of not having it.
Yes.
Whereas when I wrote this goal down, I did it and I set it aside.
You
And for
release it.
me, that's massive because, and this is why I think many people misunderstand this whole process, because it's the difference between having that feeling place of wanting something because you don't have it, and the having the belief so much that you're going to have it so that you feel that you already have it, that it's already there. There's a difference. And I don't know whether everybody understands that difference.
Very good point.
They are actually two very different energy. This is where I feel that people misunderstand it, because they think they've been doing the right things to try and visualize, but they are coming to it from actually a place of lack, as opposed to that feeling place of already having it now. And that's why I said earlier about it's difficult, isn't it, when people don't have something, to find that feeling place of actually it's already happened, which is where you need to be, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And your feelings will tell you the truth. If you pay closely attention to your feelings, you will know if you're tight or if you're feeling in that state of bliss. And you will know when you're trying, you can't force it. As force negates. So I'm very glad you pointed that out, Karen, because yes, you can be thinking about your goal, but the way you're thinking about it, if you're maybe coming from a place of, if you're like, I still haven't reached it, or I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking about it in terms of it's not here yet. Or if you're coming up from a place of knowingness that it's already done, it's already here. Maybe you don't see it yet physically, but you have that deep sense of knowingness and peace inside of you that it's already here, already done, and you can just let it go. And this is when but you have to keep that feeling. You stay in harmony with your goal. And this is when obviously you're on the right vibration to be able to attract all the resources and anything you need to make it happen. Absolutely.
Yeah. Love that. But again, it doesn't happen overnight, and it does take practice and that real understanding of the difference of those things. So yeah, changing that self-image depends on where you're at or what you've achieved up to this point as to how easy or how much practice it's going to take. But yes, it all starts there, doesn't it? If you cannot create something new by being the same person as you were. You're going to get more of the same. So you've got to find a way to change how you view you.
How you view you, how you view everything. Absolutely. Because it's changing the way you think, changing the way you operate, changing your programming. You're changing you completely. And when you look at who am I, what type of person am I, what do I like? Obviously, you're still going to be you at the core, but you have to become a different person. You have to start developing new habits. You have to start developing new behaviors for the results to change. But you can't do those behaviors until you change how you're thinking in here and how you're thinking about yourself. If you're always thinking of, I'm this type of income level earner, you're not going to be able to get here because you're always going to act from that place. And so this is where you need to raise your awareness, raise your self-image to somebody who is going to be your peer. What kind of decisions do they make? How do they really think and conduct themselves throughout the day? And, when you raise that image and truly also incorporate the idea of, I've achieved my goal. This is when, with practice, because obviously all of this can't be done overnight. This is why it takes time, why you work with a mentor, because it's changing one thing at a time until you've become that person. Nobody can change overnight. Oh, we would all do it. And we would have all achieved our goals by now.
Yeah. I don't know why anybody thinks any different. I come from the fitness industry. Yeah, you're not going to, if you want to lose 2 stone, there's a time span. There's a natural time span regardless. And it will be the same with, you've got your physical muscles, you've got your mental muscles, everything. But the trouble is we demand it now, don't we? We want change now. And if it doesn't change now, people get frustrated or impatient and maybe give up too soon.
That is a big portion of it. Whether you read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, or any of the other personal development world, people sometimes get so close to having their dream manifest, but they give up because they don't see the evidence. But there's a great book that Bob recommended, and it's U Square by Price Pritchett. And there's a quote in there that says, the evidence of absence is not the absence of evidence.
Oh, I like that.
And it is so good because what we do is we plant little seeds, right? We plant little seeds in our mind of what we want to achieve and our goal and who we're becoming. And next thing we know, because we don't see the results right away, we are like, oh, is it working? We dig it up. We dig it up. But guess what happens when you do this? You don't have the full faith. You never change your beliefs completely. You're digging it up and you're just starting over. So this is where it's so important to do the work, to really work with somebody, because you don't want to dig up your seeds every time because you're not seeing the results right away. The results, you're transmuting energy into matter. It doesn't happen overnight. Yes, sometimes it happens quickly when you wish for a cup of coffee. That could be a quick one. But when you're going for a big goal where you have to really stretch yourself and raise your awareness to a whole new level, it's going to take time. And you can't dig up those seeds because every time you do this, you're starting over. Yeah.
So really it is, a lot of this is, it's going on faith, isn't it? It's going on belief in the unseen. So for someone, how do they know when, when do you just keep going? If they really, really believe that they can achieve it, it's just do not give up. Is that the message? Do not give up.
Yes, do not give up. And if any of you have read Think and Grow Rich, that should be definitely the message that you read in chapter 1. Do not give up. You had that story from 3 Feet from Gold, right? He learned his lesson really the hard way. He gave up just 3 feet from gold. And so many times you've probably heard of the razor's edge expression. What makes the difference between a successful person and a not successful person is just a razor's edge. They took one more step. They did one more phone call. They lasted an extra 5 minutes, whatever it was. They just did one extra thing. And so that's why it's truly about not giving up. And even when you look at Edison, it took him a really long time he failed so many times at putting this incandescent light together, but he would not give up. He knew he would find a way. So when you have a goal, first you have to ask yourself, am I willing to commit to my goal and to do anything I have to do for my goal? Because if you're just interested in your goal, it's not going to work. It has to be truly something you really want. And when it's something you truly desire, you will have that strength that it takes going the extra mile when things get tough and when things don't seem to be working. Because it's worthy of whatever that meaning. You have a purpose behind it. Usually, yes, you want more money, but it's not so much the money. It's the time and freedom that it provides you. It's something that it can provide for your family. So it has to be really meaningful. Whatever goal you set for yourself, it has to be truly meaningful to you. And then because you're going to encounter challenges, and that's why you work with a coach, because you'll hit roadblocks. You will hit roadblocks because that's part of the growth. You're going to hit those. And you will then have to find it in yourself. Why did I choose to go after this in the first place? Yes, I'm going to go the extra mile because it's worth it. So you have to keep going. Now, the goal shouldn't change, but the strategy could change. And this is where, as you keep growing, you may raise to a new level of awareness. You're like, maybe this is not the best route. Maybe let me try this route. Okay. But you have to keep pursuing your goal. You can't give up on your goal.
Great advice. Great advice. And all this stuff, like all the books you're suggesting, how old are these books? But the info is still nothing's changed. It's still as true as it was when it was written. Really, I suppose there are a few big things in that book, Think and Grow Rich. I think my main one I got from that was the gold card, which I do have. I should have had it here, really. Definitely, which I suppose Bob then took on from, because they are universal truths. So nothing's really going to
Hmm.
change, even if these books were written, what, 100 years? I don't even know. When was
Yes,
things? Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it? It's got to be
yes,
100 years
uh-huh.
ago. It's crazy. But yes, that all the same things, I suppose, still apply. Yeah, being persistent. You just got to and I say to a lot of people, 80%, I would say, of the work is just showing up, keep showing up, and you will get there. But as I said, we're in this society at the moment where people are very impatient. Now, do you notice a difference in the patience of business owners with the different ages? So what I'm saying is, poor millennials I think they get a hard time because people keep bashing them. My children are, what are they, Gen Z or whatever. But do you notice a difference in, because of the way things have gone with all the gadgets and things, that we are in this now, whereas maybe, well, I don't know, maybe people more my age are a little bit more they know that there is a time, things don't happen overnight. But do you notice a difference with people that you work with?
I mean, there is definitely a difference. I would say, though, when you decide to invest in yourself, we talk about the fact that there is a time for sowing and there's a time for harvesting, right? You can't be doing both at the same time. And whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in God, I still remember Bob drilling into my head, it's in God's time. And so we set goals with specific timelines that we want to achieve it, but we're guessing. And you got to give yourself some grace here because your goal is to do everything you can to hit your target. But really, it depends on how much you've changed, how much your level of awareness has increased, and if you're in harmony with things so that the universe can deliver. At the end of the day, you're going to have to allow for that growth. And some things may have to fluctuate. So, yes, patience comes to be a big key, and some people need more reminders of there is that time for sowings, that time for that growth. It needs to happen, and a time for harvesting. And some people have known through, because they're already business owners and they've gone through this before and they know things take time, that yes, they understand that as a foundation. Our newer world, yes, makes it more challenging, but this is where learning from someone helps because you realize, you know what? Everything is not like on social media where click and it happens, but it's okay. It's part of the growth, it's part of the process. And that's why you work with people to help you and guide you through this.
And something you said just earlier is about it's the allowing. And I suppose
Yes.
that goes back to what I was saying earlier about what I found
Mhm.
the real, for me, my aha moment was that not wanting the goal so much, because that as is actually coming from a place of lack, as to how do you get people to allow it? You have to have that total faith that it's going to come. And I suppose, as Bob puts it, let go and let God. So I suppose that's
Yes.
to me, that means the law. I might have it wrong, but that's how I perceive it, is the law of allowing,
Yes.
of allowing
Yes.
it to, but again, even that, how do you
Yes,
get
that's
there when
exactly
you
it.
really want something to just really have that, you've got to let it go. Because I know that to be true purely because things
Yes.
have happened, so I can look back and go, that was the difference. That's been the difference
Mm.
when I've done different things that maybe haven't worked, is because I wasn't allowing it. I was trying to force it and there was too much resistance versus,
Allowing, yes. And the book Ask and It Is Given is a great one for that. It really speaks to that really well. But really, it comes down to practicing every single day and noticing your feelings. And it really, you have to do the work. And that's why partnering with someone that can take you step by step is so important, right? Because you're going to have to change those subconscious beliefs. The only way you can get to that place of faith, that place of allowing, is if you remove those subconscious beliefs that are going against your goal. Because once you remove those and replace them with new ones, where you truly have the belief you're going to achieve this, then you're in a place of allowing. You're in a place of faith. And you can just relax because you just know it's going to happen. But you have to do the work on your mind and change all these things. And that's why it's truly a partnership, because otherwise you would have accomplished it already.
And it is doing the work, the inner work we're talking about. So
The
it just
inner
goes to
work,
show
yes.
that is as more important than the actual doing part, because I suppose that part will affect what you do.
Controls, yes, it controls the doing. Absolutely. And that's why Bob always said success is 95% mindset and 5% strategy, because the mindset controls the doing, it controls everything you do. So if you want to be able to change your behavior, have different outcomes, you have to go back to the root. And what are your behaviors saying about your beliefs? What are your feelings saying about your beliefs? And when you are able to change those one by one, and really it takes practice, daily practice, you have to be fully committed. It's not like I'll watch a YouTube video or I'll read a book. It doesn't work. Otherwise, everybody would have changed their lives by now. Okay. I heard somebody say the other day, it's called shelf help. And I love it. I thought this was genius.
Shelf help.
Shelf
Well,
help, because yes, I mean you learn things, but at the end of the day, nothing changes. It has to be structured. It has to be daily practice, daily studying, and this is where you're going to see the change happen.
oh,
Yes.
100%. This is why I think so many people misunderstood The Secret, because they might have watched it once and then gone, oh, yeah, you just ask the universe for what you want. And then it'll go, oh, yeah. I did actually probably get the best piece of advice I was probably ever given. So that, yeah, we are going back to about, must have been 2004 now. Just had my second child. And we had pre-ordered The Secret because Bob was just going to do it as a documentary originally. And we were speaking to his name was Bob. It wasn't the Bob, but one of his coaches was a Bob. And we'd just moved, we'd listened to Bob, right? We'd burnt the boats. We'd gone to Portugal, moved to Portugal, really didn't know what, we hadn't really researched it. And so there was no way, we were in a new country. There's no way we could even get credit or anything. There's no way we could get the coaching program. But he said to me, because I said I pre-ordered The Secret, he said, there is so much depth to that video, that film. Watch it twice a day for a month. And I thought in the beginning, you're crazy. But we did it. And we wouldn't have had Fitbods. We would never have got there if I hadn't have taken that piece of advice. Because you just because you watch a YouTube video, as you say, or you just read a book, you think, oh yeah, but if you don't apply it, if you don't implement it into your life, nothing is going to change. You might think, oh yeah, that's good, oh I can understand why that would be, but if you don't do the thing, then nothing's going to change. And yes, I thought he was crazy, and I've never ever watched anything since that many times. And again, confirming the point that this is how we learn, through spaced repetition of a new idea. So just because I've read other books once, I had to Get Out The Power of Now. I had it on Audible, and I started listening to it over and over again because I'd only watched that. I only read that once 20 years ago. And it doesn't get in there, does it? It's not going to affect what you do unless you go over it and over it and over it. Do you think this is what a lot of people are missing? They just think, yeah, I know that. And you think, do you?
Yes. It's so funny you say that, because so many times we know things, yet we're not doing it. And that's actually one of the lessons we work on. That's lesson number 2. The knowing doing gap. There's a huge difference between what we know and what we actually do. There's so many things we know, yet we're not doing it, or that we're doing that we know we shouldn't be doing. And all of that goes back to the programming. It's in control. That's exactly why, even though you know you should be doing certain things, you're still not doing it. It goes back to your programming. And just like you said, it's that constant spaced repetition. And that's funny you mentioned that, because what we do with my clients is we watch those videos, do those exercises twice a day for 2 weeks. That's what we do. Because yes, you have to be able to change the programming. And it doesn't happen overnight. So little by little, you're peeling the onion, you're rewriting the program, and this is when the results are going to change. But it takes that structured, repetitive work. And that's why you have to be truly committed to yourself. You can't just be interested in your goal. You have to be like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Time, money, whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. And when you have that full commitment, yes, you're going to have to go through this, go through that space repetition. And I remember Bob even having his books, Think and Grow Rich. He read it for 60 years. He kept on reading this book over and over. He said, no, I haven't read it once or twice. I've read it more than 200 times, or probably more than that, because he's read it over 60 years. And he would have that book holder that would hold it onto a specific page, and he would study that page for days or weeks until he understood the concepts and applied it based on his goal. So it's truly studying. You're not reading a book just to read a book, because otherwise nothing happens. You're truly studying because you're trying to change your mindset, and you're trying to change the behavior that comes from your mindset.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it is so true. So do you have any transformational stories that you could share about any of your clients?
It's really coming from, some of it is truly just changing from the inside sometimes. And this is where I've seen one of my clients came from a place where she would even never go out at night in her car. And within a span of 6 months, next thing I know, she's driving in the evening. She's doing things that she's never done before. And then look at the world of opportunities that opens to her when after she's done that, because it gave her wings. It gave her the strength to realize that she has all of this in her. And it's just like when you think about, you're teaching somebody how to fish, really. You're not just helping them achieve one goal. You're helping them uncover all their potential and realize I can achieve anything I want, and I can take any goal I have and start changing myself, start changing my beliefs, and then really achieve any goal that I want. But it really comes down to where I saw the true transformation is the happiness level, the confidence level, because once you have that confidence, nothing can stop you. And realizing, like, doing things that they were never doing before. Never.
So it has a
Yeah.
knock-on. I suppose that's it, isn't it? You're going to change your self-image. You're going to change everything in your life. That's going to affect your relationships, your health, your wealth, everything. It's not
Yes.
just business. But do people come to you mainly for business, or are they coming to you for other things as well with regards to this?
Both, I will say. So when it's the business owners, it is definitely business goals. Absolutely business goals and obviously increasing business revenue, right? Growth of the business. Absolutely. And then for individuals, it could be professional goals or it could be personal goals. Or it could be health goals. So it's really a variety, right? Because the mindset is at the root of everything. So it's not truly specific as long as you have a goal, something you're trying to change, something you're trying to improve, and you haven't been able to. That means your mindset needs to change because that's the root cause of everything. And so whether it's you've hit a ceiling in your business, whether it's you want to improve your health, but for some reason you can't get on it, you know what you're supposed to be doing, but you're not doing it. Whether it's you want to really propel your career, all of that really are all rooted here. Because your self-image, if you haven't gone there, you won't be able to get there.
So do you truly believe that anybody can achieve anything? If they come to you and they've set a goal, it's like triple what they've ever done in their previous life. Are you fully convinced that they can do it?
They can absolutely do it, 100%. As long as they commit fully and truly allow themselves to believe in the process. The process works if you let it work.
If only this was stuff. It should be taught in school, shouldn't it?
Yes, I know. It should really be taught in school. I wish I had learned much earlier. I think my life would have been very different. I probably would have gone for different pathways. And I was limited in my thinking. My dreams were small because that's all I could think of. I didn't know I could do better.
I suppose this is part of it. Like I say, I achieved my goal. It was the wrong goal, but I didn't know that it was the wrong goal until I got there. We realized when we got there that this business model actually isn't sustainable and it's not duplicatable because it was built around us. The business model. But we didn't know there. We didn't know it until we got there and decided that actually we thought we wanted this, but actually, no, this is not what I truly want. And do you find that not everybody, I mean, you speak to like kids today, like my own daughters, they still don't know what they want to do. Do you find that's almost like the biggest challenge, is that quite often people actually don't know what they really want?
Some do know what they want, some don't, because they haven't allowed themselves to truly go dive deep down. What do they really want? And yes, they may pursue a goal that they think that they want, but it's okay, because I'm going to say this, it's all part of the journey. And for you to achieve your next goal, you have lessons to learn, you have challenges to go through, and you have some growth to go through. So it's never wasted, because the lessons that you're going to learn from this are much more valuable.
Oh,
So
100%. 100%, because I know it. Because I know it works. But yeah, I suppose that's my thing is, look, I know it's worked because I've done it. And then I've done it when I haven't done it like that. So I know it's your awareness. It just raises your awareness, doesn't it? That this stuff does work. And I'm like probably everybody else, I can get complacent and I hand up. I've gotten out of the habit of, I was getting up and meditating every day, and I was taking time, and you can get caught up in things, and this is a bit of a reminder for me to go back to that, because you can get caught up in the doing part of the business, and I've come away from it more recently, so time for me to get back on it. So great reminder.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's what happens to people. They get so motivated, and that's why motivational videos are only so good, right? Because you get excited, you get started on maybe a month, and then you fall back to your old habits, because that's what we do. We go back to the old programming. And unless you're constantly working on yourself, and that's what coaching does, right? It keeps you in that structured environment. Because otherwise we all go back. I don't really need to meditate today. Or do I really need to do my gratitude today? Or do I really need to write my goal 100 times today? We all fall back. Absolutely. But it's truly, it has to become part of you. It's that discipline, because that's what's going to make the difference. The razor's edge again.
There you go. But it's also good to know, because you don't have to be hard on yourself. It's okay. Because I've done it many times and fallen off the wagon many times. You just get back on it, and it's okay. Sometimes we can be quite hard on ourselves, can't we? So to the listeners, if they're like, oh, this sounds something that I need, how would they find you? How do they get in touch with you if they can't see all your details below this video, that is?
Yes. So my website is dreamintosuccessnow.com. And you can send me a message through the website, or book an appointment through the website. That is really the best way to contact me. Even if you just have questions, set up a virtual coffee. Let's have a chat. But I really encourage you, this is your life. You don't know how much time you have left. I don't know how much time I have left. And that's why I'm going to make a conscious decision every day to live my life intentionally and to pursue a goal that's worthy to me and my family. And I encourage you to do the same, because life is short and you're fully capable of doing so much better. So commit to yourself. And I am even offering a free one-on-one coaching session for those that reach out within 7 days. So by the 24th of July, you'll get not just a virtual chat, but a free coaching session if you set it up within 7 days. Commit to yourself. This is your life.
Fantastic. And that's it. It's the best investment you'll ever make, is an investment in yourself. So what about you, Lu? What's next for you? What are your big goals?
Yes, I am still growing my business. And obviously I have much bigger goals for it, and expanding to a team and things like this, where I want to have it. And really, for me, everything is driven with family. So the big goals are around the family life that I'm creating and the things I want my kids to experience, all of this. So for me, it's really going back to the roots and spending a lot of time on my health as well. I've partnered with a health coach and we're doing different things for programming in terms of going back to the roots. And so this is where I am also evolving as a coach, right? I have my own personal goals as well in terms of expanding and dedicating my life. I also have a special needs child, and this is something that's really special to me. And so giving back to the special needs community is another part of my goals. So I have a lot of pieces
Wow.
to where I'm growing as an individual, as a business owner, as a mom, as just a member of the special needs community.
Wow.
And yes, these are all the things that are part of the picture because, yes, we build a picture, right? When you set a goal, you build a full picture. And so little by little, those things start unfolding.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, I'm sure you will get there. Yeah, Bob is definitely had a massive impact on my life for the last, well, I shouldn't even say, should I? I'm 51 now. So yeah, I was, oh my God, I don't even want to think. Yeah, half my life, I would say, for half of my life. Yeah. So I'm very grateful that I was initially introduced to him. I think the first book I ever read was Who Moved My Cheese, then Psycho-Cybernetics, and then Think and Grow Rich. I think that it went in that order. And then Born Rich. So it really was my introduction to the self-development arena, really.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a shame he's gone, but his legacy lives on. So it's through people like yourself. So yes, it's
exactly. It's a legacy. And the recipe hasn't changed. It still is the same, and that's why he has changed so many people's lives.
Yeah, that's why we say those books are over 100 years and nothing's changed. Really, Bob has just put it into a very practical way of doing it. But it's like you say, they're all talking about the same thing. They might be putting it in slightly different ways that are going to resonate with different people, but it's all based on the same knowledge, on the same universal laws. It's just, right, okay, these are the laws. How do we implement them into our lives so that we can create our lives rather than living our lives through default, really, by reacting to certain things. And I think that's what people misunderstand it, is that you actually can create the life that you want, but it's got to start from you rather than you just reacting to everything that's coming out. It starts from you. So love what you do. Yes, everybody needs it, and everybody needs a coach. This is my whole thing, is that I truly believe there's a coach for everybody to meet them where they're at that time, and there is the right coach for absolutely everyone. So thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. It's
thank you for having me.
Very close to my heart. So thank you. So just mention your website one more time, because it was a long word and I've already forgotten it. So say it again.
www and then it's dreamintosuccessnow.com.
Dreamintosuccessnow.com. Fantastic. And to everybody else, well, I will be back tomorrow with a Coffee with Karen. So goodbye for now.
Bye.
Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.